Today we're assembling the priority folder. So grab some household tools, a Phillips screwdriver and some scissors, and let's get to it. Start by opening the box. Now remove the bicycle from the box. There we go. Don't forget to grab your parts box. Now go ahead and remove all the packaging material from the bike. Before getting into the assembly, open up your parts box. In here, you'll find the pedals, mounting bolt for the front fender, the front skewer, your assembly tools, and the Gates manual and the priority manual. So make sure to check out both of these manuals and give them a quick read before you go for your first ride. Now let's get to the assembly. So first we're going to install the handlebars and the stem. So let's grab the handlebars here, and you can see there's kind of a mess of cables running here around the fork and the front end of the bike. So we'll try and manage those as we do this installation. So I would start just by rotating this so that the cables kind of have their cleanest route. There's nothing really twisted or wrapped around. Then we're going to turn the fork so that it's facing frontwards. And you can see that the front brake cable wraps around this left side of the bike. So that means to make sure that everything is running in front of the bike where we want it, we want to rotate this 180 degrees clockwise to bring everything out in front here. So now that we've got our cables all routed in front, nothing's twisted. We have the shifter here on the right-hand side, front brake line wrapping around in front, rear brake just underneath that, and then the shift cable coming around this way. We know that we're in the right place. Okay, now let's go ahead and install the upper part of the stem. So flip open the quick release on the lower part. You can see that there's a flat side on the back here, and that just allows you to guide this in. So go ahead and slide it in and close that quick release. You should feel some resistance at the end to have to push it closed fully, and that way you know that it's nice and tight. If you have some assembly grease at home, it may be helpful to dab a little on the top part of the stem here where it inserts into the bottom part. That can prevent some creaking. Now to prepare for installing the front wheel, we want to open up the brakes. The way we do that is use both of our hands. I'm going to pull on the noodle, this is called the noodle, and pull that out of its guide here. That allows us to fully open the brake. Now go ahead and grab your front wheel and your bolt-in quick release skewer. So start by unthreading the bolt side of the skewer from the nutted side. And you can pick whichever side you prefer, but I'm going to slide it in from the right-hand side. Make sure you have this spring on the opposite side, thin side down. Now just thread that on a little bit by hand, not too much. Now pick up the front of the bike, put the wheel in, and let it slide into the dropouts. Now go ahead and grab your 5mm Allen key. Hold that in this side, and you can just hold the opposite side with your fingers as you tighten this up. Now with a little weight on the fork, just to make sure the wheel is fully seated, go ahead and tighten that nice and tight so the tool leaves an imprint in the palm of your hand. Now go ahead and reattach the front brake. So grab the noodle with your right hand and push the right side caliper with your finger, and go ahead and guide the guide or holder for the noodle into the right spot until the head of it pops in place, and you can put the dust cover right back over. Now let's go ahead and pop that kickstand down, and we can rest the bike on it. Now it's time to install the front fender. So go ahead and grab the fender and the mounting bolt for the fender, as well as your 5mm Allen key and your 10mm wrench. So start by taking the nut off of the mounting bolt and taking off the first flat washer and the curved washer, first curved washer. And go ahead and slot the mounting bolt through the fork crown with the curved side of the first curved washer butting up against the fork crown. Now get that fender ready to go. Slide the second curved washer so that the curved side is butted up against the fork. Put the bracket in place. Now the flat washer and the nut. Now for the next step, I like to install the fork. For the next step, I like to install the struts before I fully tighten down the crown bolt. So you need your 4mm Allen key for this step. So go ahead and remove these mounting bolts. One on the right side and one on the left side. Now go ahead and make sure that washer's on the outside between the bolt and the fender strut. And tighten it down. Snug, but not so tight that you damage any of the hardware or the fender strut. Repeat this step on the opposite side. Now take your 5mm Allen key, use that to hold the front of the bolt in place, and tighten up that nut on the back side of the fork. If your fender's not sitting totally straight, this is a good time to make any adjustments. When you're ready to install the pedals, let's start by identifying which pedal is which. We have the right pedal here with an R sticker, and we have the left pedal here with the L sticker, and also these convenient hash marks on this part of the pedal. Now, let's start with the right pedal. We're going to be using a 6mm Allen key to install this, and we're going to install it from the back. So let's start by positioning the crank arm to a spot where we can reach it from the back. If you have some assembly grease at home, this is a good time to throw some on the threads. Now hold the pedal in place, and the right pedal is standard thread. So from your side, it's threading in clockwise. If you're looking at it from the back of the pedal, I'm turning the tool counterclockwise to thread it in. Now once you get it nice and tight, just using the long end of the tool, go ahead and turn it with the short end of the tool in the back side of the pedal, and the long end here to use some leverage on it. I'm using one hand to put pressure on the opposite side crank arm so that I can turn the tool against that and put a good amount of effort into snugging up that pedal. Now let's do the left pedal. So once again, start by positioning the crank arm to a place where you can reach it from the back side. Now take the pedal, hold it in place, feed the tool in from the back, and this time, now where I am on the outside, I'm turning it counterclockwise. From your point of view, it's turning clockwise. So once it starts to snug up this way, turn the tool so you can use the long side of it to really apply some force. Get that pedal nice and tight. And once again, I'm holding the opposite side crank arm so I can turn against that. To get the front reflector in the right place, take your Phillips head screwdriver and remove it. So unbolt the mounting bolt. Make sure the nut doesn't drop out on the underside, and just slip that bracket off of the handlebars. Now flip that around. This will give you easier access to it. Put it in place right next to the center of the stem. Now put it in place right up next to the stem. Put the bolt back in and snug it up. You're good to go. Now go through the bike and check that every bolt that you touched and every one you didn't is snug and secure. And be sure to take the bike down to your local bike shop for a safety check before going for your first ride. For information on how to fold the bike, check out our video linked below. And if you have any more questions, reach out to our customer service team. We're available 7 days a week, and the contact information is on your screen.